All right, everybody. So my name is Brian Patrick Corrigan. I'm a chiropractor in Jersey City, New Jersey. Wait a second. I got my paper here. So, you know, a lot of people say to Pasquale, I don't understand they say, I don't understand the things you're talking about. And Pasquale was talking to us from the spiritual level. And at the end, he was pretty much all spirit. His body was just, especially Tom and I, after the meetings, we would help him walk up the stairs. He'd have to take a break, and then for 5 we chit-chat, then we had to go up the other flight of stairs. But I'll get into that in a little bit. So, D.D. Palmer received chiropractic from the spiritual realm. Now, I'll go back to Pasquale for a second. Remember, Pasquale was born in 1911. He met his chiropractor, I guess around 1929, a guy named William H. Werner, W-E-R-N-E-R, and he was a chiropractor in Queens, New York. And now, Pasquale also had a professor in chiropractic school named J. Robinson Werner, V-E-R-N-E-R. These are all old-time chiropractors. And through these people, Pasquale knew chiropractors that knew D.D. Palmer. He actually met these people. They learned from D.D. Pasquale met them. Remember, you know, in the 1930s, Pasquale was in his 20s, and these guys were older, and he says they were just, he couldn't believe the power that they had in every aspect. So, and Pasquale also later on in life got information, wisdom from a spiritual friend. So let's get back to D.D. Palmer. So D.D. Palmer, he's born in Iowa. He was 20 years old. He moves and he winds up somehow in Davenport, Iowa. A man named Harvey Lillard, he comes across him. Harvey Lillard had injured himself and he became deaf in one of his ears. So D.D. Palmer was talking to him, and then eventually D.D. Palmer was called the Spiritual Church. And each church had a medium. So he went to the medium, and the medium said, I'm Jim Atkinson. I used to be a medical doctor when I was alive in the body. I wanted to be chiropractic years ago, but the world wasn't ready for it. So he told D.D. Palmer how to take care of Harvey Lillard. So D.D. Palmer spoke to Harvey Lillard, and after a little bit of convincing, Harvey Lillard was lie down on the table, and D.D. Palmer gave what they call the first chiropractic adjustment, and Harvey Lillard got his hearing back. And then D.D. Palmer went back to the spiritual medium and said, what is this that I just got? And there were 4 words. So I'm just going to write them. First word is foramen. F-O-R-A-M-E-N. Then transition. You all know how to spell that. Transition. Then we got the word interference. And then you got the word subluxation. And this is what D.D. Palmer was told. I'm going to leave that there. So D.D. Palmer thought, foramen. If you look at someone and suppose someone's standing sideways and you can see inside of them, you have the spinal cord, and out of the spinal cord comes the nerves, and the nerves come out through this thing called a foramen. It's a hole, and they come out. So D.D. Palmer, you know, this guy was an expert in anatomy and physiology, an absolute expert. For him, it was, he thought the interference was there at the foramen, and that's how he explained chiropractic. But the one thing Pasquale told us was, he was never told that. He was never told that's how that word has to be used. He was just told those words. So I look at it as, the word foramen, it does mean hole, but Stephen used the word that I'm going to use right now, and it's portal. For me, I don't need this anymore. So for me, for Raymond Hall is really a portal. So I sent the video out and we watched it, and Pasquale spoke about the ingathering. There's 4 seasons. You have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. You look at each one of those is like 3,000 years if you want to look at it that way. The winter season we've been in all these years and all this crazy stuff, but it's actually over now. But just like now, how we just turned spring recently, it's still cold. It was really cold this past week. It even was snowing the other day, but technically it was still spring. So it takes a while for that. It's getting warmer and warmer and the nicer weather. But the winter season's really been over. But there's so many groups that would rather keep us in the winter season of thinking. Or as Pasquale used to say, you have true north, magnetic north. Magnetic north is really not the true north. It's off to the side. And the earth is tilted. So the reason why I'm saying these things is, for me, I'm looking at it. Pasquale was talking to us about things really from the spiritual. He says we have to start learning the spiritual language. We have to start speaking that way and living that way. Because he says, one of the last things he said to me was, it's one of the last conversation I had with him. He said, everything you ever learned, you have to go beyond it. That's what he told me. He's like, all the anatomy and physiology that you learned, all that, you have to forget it. So if you have any charts in your office with nerves or muscles or any of that stuff, get rid of it. It doesn't apply anymore. I'm not demanding people. I'm just telling you what he told me. Stop thinking like that. Start thinking about things in a different way. So for me, I'm looking at this. For Raymond, just means a portal. A portal into what? To me, into the heavenly realm, to have heaven here. And it's been here the whole time. And chiropractic, how does chiropractic help people? To me, it helps people relax. It helps them get to that pause or go through that portal. It's like we give them the opportunity to do that. Whether they choose to do it, that's up to them. It's not up to me. It's up to them. All I can do is for myself. So my main message is, that portal is really what's going on, and more people are awakening to it. And there's, as Nancy would like to use the term, pushback. That's one of Nancy's terms that I've learned from her. And that's what we're seeing. Pasquale said, yes, there are people, they use the dark forces and they use it, but it's not progress. They use it just to bully people and try and get their way, but to me, that's winter season. That's how they had their power. That's over. We're down to the 3 seasons, the ingathering. It's spring, summer, autumn, right back to spring again. Like a child needs 9 months, like to be in gestation, to be inside the mom. That's really what we are. So we're going back. That's what we are right now. And chiropractic is, this portal is like opening us up to all these other dimensions and all these other things that are coming through us, and all this light is coming through. And this world needs chiropractic more than ever right now. You don't have to say this stuff to the people. I don't say it to the people, but I think about it myself. So I'm not demanding any chiropractors do what I say, because I have no time to be a management person. I'm just saying, we're really at this time. You don't have to worry about talking about words like ego. It's not necessary anymore. You can talk about it if you like, but for me, it's not necessary. Once you go and realize that this portal and all this light's coming in, you don't think about these things. And I've had times when I've been taking care of people when it's like everything stopped. You know what I mean? It's like I was in that pause. And when I was in that pause, but I'm consciously in it, I realized I didn't have any questions. It's like I just knew. It was just, be still and know that I am God. I was just still. And all these things were just there. So chiropractic for me is to use the spiritual, the spiritual portion, and really learn to use that spiritual side. Learn to just use it. And don't worry, and the physical stuff, that will just take care of itself. Now, people talk about the words frequency and high frequency and low frequency. Well, I look at it this way: be still and know that I am God. So that means if I'm still, what is a frequency? If something's moving, it's how it can be slow, like this, or it could be fast. Boom, 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 like that. But if I'm still, there is no frequency and there is no tone. Everything just is. So chiropractic gets us into that portal, and we're in that pause. And we get to look at ourselves, and we can see all this debris inside of us that really, we took on many parts to get through that winter season. We don't need them anymore. They have to leave us. So by getting adjusted, we come back, we go to the pause, we come back into this earthly realm, but now we have a little bit of that heavenly thinking inside of our heads. Then what happens? As Mark Johnson always says, what's that quote about the love? Love shows us everything that is not love, or so what does it say? Love brings up everything unlike itself for the purpose of healing. So when we come down come back to this realm, I think we really love ourselves just a little bit more. And we realize all that stuff in us that's not that we don't need anymore, that has to leave. And that's what causes the vibration. It's all the debris being broken down inside of us, and that's what leaves us. Drug addicts take these, like, I live in Jersey City for years. I know a lot of people died from drugs. A huge number. They do it too fast. They're rushing. Because the body can't handle how fast the debris is being broken. But chiropractic does it in small sequential steps. So this debris is coming out of us. Yes, it is shaking us up. It is causing that vibration, and that is a tone. But then at some point, I'm looking at it as, once all that stuff is really gone out of us, what left is there? And to me, in that heavenly realm, we're still. And it's like when I took care of those people, and I was in that pause, and I was aware of it, that was the most peaceful moment that I've ever had in my entire life. And I've had that happen quite a few times. So, I think I covered most of my little things. It's just really, for chiropractic I always say to people, I told a guy the other day, he's a very, very sensitive man. He's a kind man. He's always getting upset. I said, you know what? I told him in Spanish, when you surrender to God, God takes over your schedule. And that's really the thing that I learned from Pasquale. Just focus on serving people, and the rest will take care of itself. So whatever you do in life, if you're cutting someone's hair, or you're a teacher, or you're a chiropractor, when you just focus on serving that person, that's all you need, Rebecca. And all that other stuff will take care of itself. So chiropractic, we're in this space right now, there's no need to argue or go all the chiropractors. They have all these different groups and they're arguing. Yeah, I love all of them. Let them do whatever they feel they need to do. And I'm not going to tell them how to do things. Even if they tell me how to do things, I'm still not going to get angry. I'll just say, okay, thank you, and I'll move on. I'm not going to do what they say, but I'm not going to argue. But one of my things is, D.D. Palmer, I really think he knew what these words really were from the spiritual realm, but he didn't think the world was ready. But I think towards the end of his life, he wanted to make chiropractic a religion, and I think he was going to start to do that, but the world wasn't ready, so he had to go. But the world is ready right now to take these words, and I'll let you take them and figure out whatever you want with them. That's your business. I'll talk about the other things a different day. I just want to focus on the word foramen and portal. And just take that for yourself, and just do that with whatever you want with it. But for me here at Self Center, the last meeting, I felt like I knew this happened because it happened inside of me, and I went down to Mark to get adjusted to help get this debris out of me. That's why I had to go down to see you the other day, Mark. And I knew it. But people who resist things, resist just means to stand back. You don't have to stand back. You can walk right through it. Walk right through that door of spirituality and know you're going to be okay. And that's what chiropractic does for people. So, we're ready for this. Self-centered, one more thing, Pasquale said, self-centered has passed over karma. And really karma is about space and time. You had to take all these things from before and you had to process them. I think chiropractic helps us process whatever we need to process and just be done with it. And that's where we're at. And that's, so let's remember, we're ready for this right now. And that's all I have to say. Does anyone want to ask me anything? Stephen, and then we'll go Nancy. Stephen, go ahead.
Yeah, you spoke about the pause.
Yes.
For me, I can, at the end of every exhale, before my inhale, I can practice being in the pause.
Yes.
In the stillness. That's all.
If you go to the ocean and the water comes out, you see the water come in up right by where your toes are on the shoreline. Before it goes back in, there's a pause.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, and just acknowledge there is a pause. Most people don't even know there is a pause.
When you're a kid, when you're swinging, the best part is at the end of the pendulum.
That's true. Anyone else want to ask? Nancy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi everybody. Nice to be with you. Sorry I was late. Some of you know I'm a psychic medium and I receive information. And one piece of information that I have received, especially over the last month, is that chiropractic as a profession has moved forward in the soul of its own progression as a profession. Just like an individual soul progresses, so does chiropractic. And those people who do chiropractic. I'm not a physical chiropractor, but I know this, I was told this. And so there's been a period of spiritual purification that's been very intense over the last month, I want to say, 3 weeks to a month. And I was wondering, Brian, if you had experienced that acceleration, and also if anybody else had. So just wanted to ask you that.
Yes, I have experienced it. I started to feel it last month, but it was very, very strong, probably about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I can't remember, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I felt it really hit me hard. And I just knew. I said, wow, I watched the video, I was at the in-gathering, I watched the video of him talking about foramen and all that stuff. I realized, to me, it's about that portal. I've been hearing that word all over the place. I'm like, so for me, and I can sense it from people who are coming in now into the office. I can sense they're sensing it too, because that's why they're coming in. Or else they wouldn't be coming to me. Well, they didn't know it or not. Rebecca.
Do you ever, I know you had said you had spoke with that gentleman who you said was sensitive, but do you ever talk about this with people, especially new people in chiropractic? Because I feel once people start coming back, they're getting it almost without you having to say anything.
Yeah.
Do you feel though, maybe even for me getting started, that it's important to let people know, I'm trying to let them know this isn't about pain, however, it's their journey. It's not for me to decide. I'm just there to remove subluxation, and that's it.
You just run it however you want to run it, and don't feel the need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to justify anything you do, because that's how people try and control others.
Yes.
I don't care what you do. You can dance if you want, and put on disco music and do the hustle.
But even people, when they come in pain, that's their awakening.
Right.
They have to go through that.
Right.
We got crosstalk going on here. That's not good.
What she was asking about.
I know, but let's go through the moderator. So anyway,
Phil.
wait a second. I want to just answer her. It's just I don't say anything to people. If they say something to me, then about these things, then I say it.
Okay.
Did Phil? Was your hand up? Phil Chimay? Go ahead, Phil.
Brian, thank you. That was very insightful. A real quick question. You said you don't want to call it a foramen. You want to call it a portal.
Either one's fine.
Right.
Either one's fine with me.
All right, but the reason why you wanted to call it a portal was because what? It transmits light?
No, I said the word foramen, it means an opening or a hole. I looked it up. But I just said portal. If you want to use the word foramen, that's fine with me. I don't care which word is used. Just to me, it just means an
Right, but
opening.
what was the reasoning why you said portal?
Because I just think, for me, it's like portal's like the same thing as saying an opening or to like a whole nother dimension. That's why I use that word. But the word portal, I don't care about that either. I could use the word opening. Either one's fine with me. I just use that term because a lot of people look at it as a doorway or an opening. Either way's fine with me.
Right, because I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the word portal means to carry, and I thought you were onto something there, that it's carrying something, not necessarily the neural impulse that we were told, but I think more of the spirit.
Yeah.
So I think you're onto something.
All right. Anyone else want to ask? Senior BPC, Brian Patrick Corrigan, anything? Did anyone want to answer anything that Nancy said about have they felt anything in the last month? Is there anyone else? Rebecca?
Yeah, in the last month has been a huge transition for me going into practice and really feeling I can be this version of myself that chooses to say, you know, whatever is out there in the world, you get to choose how you are and how you get to be and how you get to feel. I get to be in control of that. And that's been something over these last few weeks that I've really been letting resonate with me. So I've been feeling the spiritual.
Anyone else want to? Tom Musto.
He's muted.
Tom, unmute.
Unmute yourself.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I just saw that, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any physical manifestations that Nancy was alluding to, but in the past month, I'm always I've been on a quest to get into shape and exercise and lose some body fat and everything, but for some reason in the past month, my body, my head, pressure behind my eyes is just like no matter how much I wanted to do what I wanted to do, my body just wanted me to do nothing. I was like getting a little frustrated with that because, you know, I could remember Pasquale asking his spiritual people, why can't I lose weight, you know? And his spiritual people told him, do you know the whale? You know, the whale has got a lot of blubber, you know, and it's because he's got to dive into the depths where there's a lot of pressure, you know. So, I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying, but that's what I was experiencing in the past month. No matter how hard I wanted to exercise and be Jack LaLanne, my head was just not in. It was just saying, nope, you're not doing it. And so that was my experience.
Does anyone else want to speak to that?
Tom, did you know Jack LaLanne was a chiropractor?
Yes, I know, yes.
Anyone else want to say that with Nancy about any feelings or anything they had the last month? All right then. Does anyone else want to ask me anything? We'll switch back to that.
Phil had his hand up.
Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he waited.
I experienced something
ahead,
about
say
a week ago where I literally, and I mean literally, Tom, couldn't get off the couch. And I fell asleep for 30 straight hours.
Whoa.
Didn't get up. And I think it's like you're saying with your body. My body said, you got to rest for the coming changes that you're going to be inundated. So I'm ready. I'm preparing myself for the changes that Nancy was alluding to.
Oiga, vault. Anyone else want to say anything about that? All right. Does anyone else want to ask me anything? And I'll just close by saying this. I really think how Nancy, go ahead, Tom.
I'm sorry, can you make any, inferences? I know you for a few years, and, years back you were a fiery spirit. And now you're a dad,
That's
and
right.
you have this beautiful baby. Can you tell me if any of the experiences and the changes that you've gone through are helping you to be a dad?
Well, I have these photos and little videos of Jack, and I don't send them out to a lot of people, but Nancy gets them. And Nancy sent me things. She's like, "Sir and Jack have melted a lot of stuff inside of you," and they truly have. And we got a few people here who have known me a long time. Phil and Tom, I met you both in 1998, over just January '98. What's that? Over 24 years ago. I was 20. How old was I? I was 27.
27.
I was 27 years old. Yeah, and I was a wild boy, believe me. But I guess I really had to go through all that stuff and get it out of me in order to meet Sora and to have Jack as my son. And I just love holding him. I just enjoy it. I love just lying next to him, and he grabs me and he takes his head and puts it next to my head. He just holds me as tight as he can, and then he falls asleep. And I always tell him, Jack, I know you came here to do certain things. You chose us to be your parents, and whatever you need us to do to help you on that, I'll make sure it happens for you. And he really made me realize, once again, I said earlier, when you surrender to God, God takes over your schedule. And you can't lie to him. He knows. And he looks. He flips his head up now because he can move around really well. He's 6 months. And he looks like this at the ceiling. And he looks around. And Nancy told me, Brian, he can see in other dimensions. And that's what he's doing. And he's helping me see in other dimensions. He's helping me grow so much. And it's, for me, that makes me calm. Because I have to be calm, because I need to be around to make sure he has what he needs. And it's fun at the same time. I never slept a lot anyway, so who cares about that? All you guys know me for years, I just, for whatever reason, do not sleep a lot. I've been like that since 1987. And it's just how it is. So to be up with him is not a big deal. It's fun. All right, anyone else want to ask me anything?
Just want to thank you for being focused on the spirit and not so physical out, not so mattered out. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Anyone else? Rebecca?
I just would like to thank you as well, because I feel this confidence and just so grateful to have you as a mentor and just leading the way. I'm so grateful for you and for Sir and this whole community. So thank you, Brian.
I appreciate that. The South Center crew, our family, is really nice people. It really is. You're around this loving people who and everyone here is cheering for you. Just remember that. We all want you to be you, and we're happy for however you run your show over there. Anyone else want to ask me anything? All right, tonight I'm just saying, I could just feel it in here. It's like this place is a portal, and we all just together, whether you're here or on the computer or the TV here, we all just together went through it. So, thank you everybody, and we'll be in touch about the next meeting. So bye.
Thank you.